and welcome back to the Perfunctionist channel. So you may remember a couple of weeks ago we looked at the new firmware update 3.15 for Line 6's Helix products, and one of the features we looked at in that video was the ability to stack the snapshots on top of each other, which on the big Helix, okay, it's cool to be able to do, but it's not as necessary because you've got so many buttons to play with. Where it does make a huge difference is using it on the HX Stomp, which is what we're going to look at today. So the HX Stomp by default only comes with 3 buttons for you to stomp on. You can get the new, reasonably new HX Stomp XL, which has got more buttons. I bought my HX Stomp before that came out, so I end up getting the one. I end up getting a little attachment on the side, which you'll see in the video, where it gives me basically 2 more buttons, and you connect it to your expression outs. Although it does plug into both of them, unfortunately, so you can't plug a separate wah pedal or expression pedal into it. However, for this video, doesn't matter. If you've only got the HX Stomp with the 3 buttons, this is going to be perfect for you. So what this feature allows you to do is, rather than be in snapshot mode and have your 3 snapshots on your 3 buttons, where that's all you can do with it, what you can do is go into stomp box mode, where you can assign stomp boxes, but then go into control center and reassign some of the buttons, or one of the buttons, to go between 2 different snapshots. Kind of like if you had 2 amps on your Helix and you wanted to switch between the 2 of them manually. So let's check out how it works, check out how it sounds, and also show you how to set this up as well. But before we go into that, just please remember, if you do like this video, if you do find it useful, please consider subscribing and liking this video. And if you like any of my, if you like what I do here, or if you want to download any of my Helix presets on the Custom 10 website under Perfunctionist, then you can buy me a coffee if you fancy doing that. Anyway, without further ado, let's check it out. So here we are with the HX Stomp. I've created a patch using the Friedman amp, which I did on the big Helix a couple of weeks ago, and I really like the sound of that. It sounded a lot beefier than the Marshall that it's based on. But anyway, I've created that here. I've got this thing added here. I pretty much always have this added to the HX Stomp. It gives me a couple of extra switches, which if you get the HX Stomp XL, you'll get anyway. But I bought this before that came out, so I've got these. I guess I've also got the option to not have that attached and make this smaller, but that's a conversation for a different time. Although what I've just found when I switch this back on again is that Footswitch 4, which is essentially what this is here, what I usually have as my delay, doesn't seem to be working at the moment. So it seems to be this that's not working, and not the cable. I tested it with another cable; it seems to work fine. The tap FS5, Footswitch 5 seems to be working fine. If I hold it down, it's also tuner. Alright, so what is it that I've done that I think you might find interesting? So with the recent update that has dropped for the HX Stomp, and for all the Helix products actually, firmware update 3.15, what it now allows you to do is to essentially stack snapshots on top of each other. So if you saw my video on the big Helix a couple of weeks ago, you've seen that I kind of used that in my firmware update 3.5 video, just to kind of showcase some of the new features. On this video, we are going to focus it on the HX Stomp, and it's probably more useful on the HX Stomp because there's so few buttons to play with. So the way I've got this set up now is this button here is going to switch between the first 2 snapshots, which is clean and crunch. Yeah, I've just had this one set to solo, and I've got a spare button here which I can use for any kind of effects, which in this case I've got a delay. I would have put the delay on here if it was working, and maybe put the tube screamer, which I've also got in here. I would have put that there as well. Let's talk about the layout. So obviously this is a smaller product than the Helix Floor. It's not as powerful, and you can't have as many effects. So all I've got here, in fact, let me scroll across. I've got a tube screamer, Scream 808, the clean amp, the dirty amp, and the cab. And at the end, I've got a delay for my effect and some room reverb. I wanted to try and do the stereo thing, the kind of double tracking thing, which if you watch my channel regularly, you know I love that. I wasn't able to do it this time round. I might try again with a different amp where I only need to use one amp, and I should hopefully be able to fit probably the double take effect in there. I was hoping to get maybe a compressor and maybe a modulation in there, maybe the compressor at the beginning and some modulation there, maybe some chorus, but I really can't add anything else at the moment. So how does it work? Let's go to this view here. So this is the one that's going to be essentially like a channel switcher. So it's currently set to clean. It says crunch here, which is actually telling you that if you want crunch, press that button. So now it's on crunch. If you want clean, press that button. There's my clean sound. And if I switch over, it goes to my crunchy sound. So there you go. Switch between those two sounds, and I can add the effect in there as well if I want, although the effects are currently locked to your whatever snapshot you happen to be in. So I'm clean at the moment. There's my simple delay in stereo, which is lovely. If I switch to the crunch, the delay will turn off. But if I go back to the clean, it remembers that the delay was on there. So if I did turn it on, if I turned on the delay for the crunch channel, then when I go back to it, it will still be on. But I'll turn that off for the moment. Right, so that's what that does. I'll show you how to do this in a moment. What I've done, I originally set this to cycle through all 3 snapshots. You've only got a maximum of 3 snapshots on this unit. But I kind of decided that if I wanted to go from, say, the crunch channel back to the clean, I'd have to go through the solo, and you kind of hear it go through the solo. So I just thought switching between the 2 snapshots on this button would be better, and then put the solo snapshot on its own button here. And if I press it again, nothing. And then if I want to go back to my clean sound, I go back to this button here. If I want to go back to the crunch sound from the solo, here's my solo sound. I have to press this button twice, into clean and then into crunch. So from solo, so not ideal, but considering you've only got a couple of buttons to play with, not bad. Okay, so it's kind of the best solution with the available options that you have. Just to summarize all that, the solo is on its own button, and the clean and the crunch are toggled between each other with this button. Solo, back to clean. All right, so you're probably wondering, all right, that's cool. How do I set that up on my HX Stomp? So let's have a look at that. So we're in this view at the moment here. You can change your view. If you come out to this view here, we want the 3 buttons. So by default, there'll be nothing there. There'll be no crunch, no solo, no simple delay. So this is where you would normally assign your effects blocks if you wanted to assign them to buttons. Notice it's not the different snapshots themselves. It's not this one. It's not the preset switching. It is the effects blocks. Okay, and as I said, this writing won't be here. It will just be the 3 buttons. Okay, so we want to go to the command center. We do that by pressing the 2 page buttons down at the same time. And there's our command center. Okay, so command, we want set to snapshot because we're dealing with snapshots. There's a few things you can change it to. You want snapshot. Behavior, we want press and release as opposed to press and hold. Next, we want it to be set to snapshot 2. So when I went into here earlier on, you might have noticed if you rewind a few seconds, this was set to snapshot 2, but it's currently when I changed this, it went back to next. So I'm going to go to snapshot 2. So we're currently in snapshot 1. So what I'm telling this to do is, and I guess you should be sure, make sure you're in snapshot 1 first. So there we are, we're in snapshot 1. You can see the 1 there. Go back into command center. All right, so back to here. We want to tell it to go into snapshot 2 when we press this button. So when I press it, it goes into snapshot 2. So for the next bit, we need to go into snapshot 2. We're currently in 1, press it to go to snapshot 2. Notice how the snap 2 is going to change to next. We want that to, so basically we're in snapshot 2 now. We want to tell it, when you press it again, to go back to snapshot 1. So back to snap 1. So if I press it, currently in snapshot 2, you can hear there's no delay there. If I press it again, it will go back to snapshot 1. Okay. And don't get confused, it says snap 2 there, but that's the next one. It's loaded the next one. So it's basically going back and forth between snapshot 1 and snapshot 2, from clean to crunch. So currently clean, crunch, telling it to go back to clean, back to crunch, and that's how you set up this kind of loop. Okay, so now we need to sort out this button to be the solo snapshot. So we're currently still on this one here, so let's scroll along to footswitch 2. Okay, so command's the same, snapshot, behavior is the same, press release. This time press, we want to be snapshot 3. Yeah, we can set it to whatever other snapshot if you needed to, but in this case we want our solo snapshot, which is snapshot 3. And if I go to the next page, release, none. So this is basically going to be snapshot 3 and nothing else. If I press it again, yeah, so all it's going to be is the solo snapshot. Then if I want to go back to clean or crunch, I'll click on that one. And if I want to go back to snapshot 2, to the crunch, I'll have to press that twice. So here's our solo. So as I said, it's not the ideal thing to do to press that twice, but it's the best we can do with what we've got, and it's not too bad, to be honest. And then don't forget to save. We've done that now. We can come out of this, save by holding down view and action, and one more time to save it, or just press save there, and then it's saved. So clean. Actually, we're currently in a crunch. Clean. Solo. there you go. I hope you found that useful. It's something that I'm certainly interested in, because if I ever have to use my HX Stomp, which is usually for gigs where I need to bring as little as possible, maybe there's a lot of travelling or walking where I'm not driving, or if there's a hard load in maybe, or small stage, or if it's an overseas gig, which is definitely what I kind of bought it for in the first place, for the overseas gigs, then at least I know I have more control over such a little piece of gear with a limited number of buttons. So yes, I found it very useful to know how to do that. I like that in the new update. Let me know what you think about that, and if you found this video useful, in the comments below. Speaking of comments, let's give you guys a bit of love. So from the last video on the power cab, which doesn't seem to be the most...
Hello and welcome back to the Perfunction...
Oops. So yeah, the power cab stuff doesn't seem to be as popular as some of the Helix stuff, but people were asking about it, so I thought I'll deliver. But anyway, yeah, from that video, Larry saying he's been using the 30 foot XLR cable to connect to the power cab, which I'm assuming you're using as for the digital stuff, just using a like XLR microphone cable. It says works great, no dropouts or digital noise. Until it fails miserably, I'm good to go. Brilliant. It's always good to hear people's real-world experiences. So I got the digital cable myself, not the Line 6 one, 'cause it's too expensive, but I did get another one from eBay, and the reason I got that one was just in case there was any issues. I didn't want to do a gig and then suddenly my setup isn't switching. So I thought I'm going to play it safe and just get one of those. But Larry seems to have no problems with it, so good for you. If anyone else uses anything a similar technique, then let me know. I'd love to know if it works for you. Dennis Hayes, who was the person who actually inspired that last video. So he says, brilliant video, Ryan. It's been most helpful and has cleared up some of the problems I had using the L6 link feature. Thanks for doing it and keep them coming. Yes, I do hope to keep these videos coming for sure. I'm glad that you're getting some value out of that, Dennis. I'm very happy to have done a video, as long as it's something that I can speak reasonably intelligently about, and if I'm helping people, even better. That's kind of the whole point of the channel. I'm glad you found that useful. Thanks for the coffee, by the way, Dennis. Bought me a coffee, so not a literal coffee, of course. I've got a buy me a coffee page, which will be linked down below, I think. So yeah, if you want to show your appreciation, you can do the same. Wink, wink. So tune in next Wednesday for more videos. I'm trying to do more of these shout-outs at the end of the video, so feel free to comment and you may get mentioned. Anyway, until next week, have a good week and keep it live. I need to figure out a good sign out. But until then, have a good one. Take care.